Hey everyone, Mango7 here. How we doing today? Welcome to another Dragalia Lost video. Today we're going to talk about the High Midgardsormr trial. I'm going to start calling it HMS or HMT. I'm not sure what the best thing to do. You unlock this, I think, by clearing some Master Dragons. Basically, if you haven't unlocked this, you're nowhere near it anyway. The might required is 13,000, but that doesn't matter. I mean, it does, but that's not really the key to this. Like, you're not going to hit 13,000 might and just run in here and do it. There's a lot of prereqs, a lot of planning, and a lot of teamwork involved in this, but I kind of want to get you prepared for that if you're unfamiliar with it. So first things first, this is amazing because it drops you these Windworm's Great Sphere to give you access to the 5-star Wind Midgardsormr Dragon, which is super duper exciting. The thing is, you're going to need a lot of things to get there. I can't actually show you in the treasure trade. I mean, I guess I can show you the other elements, but if we go into treasure trade here, you're going to need a ton of Imperial Onslaught farming. There's these cards here: Great Worm Midgardsormr, Great Worm Mercury, Brunhilde, Jupiter. These are all going to lead towards the high version of this, the 5-star version of that card. And what you have to do, you need to buy 5 of these, of each one, to unbind them. Specifically right now we're doing Midgardsormr. I've already bought 5 of them, and what you do is you unbind them together, and then you can turn them in with a ton, and I do mean a ton of metals, to turn into this card over here, in here somewhere, to this 5-star one here, this Glorious Tempest. And you'll be able to do the same thing with the other dragons too, just currently it's not in the game yet. And this gives you 25% high Midgardsormr res, and without this you're gonna die. It's not really possible to survive in the current state of the game. So you absolutely 100% need this. And you're going to need, I don't know the exact number, but somewhere around 750, I would guess, of these things here, these insignias. Specifically for High Midgardsormr, you're going to need Jade insignias, and this is farmed in the 10k Wind Onslaught. The other thing to note to help out your farming, which you're going to be in Onslaughts until the rest of your time, basically. So many clicks to get back there. The other thing about Onslaught here is if you're doing your daily bonuses, you want to do your daily bonuses on the 8200. You do not want to do your daily bonuses on 10,000. The reason being is you will get a ton extra of these gold insignias here, the royal ones, if you do the 10k, but if you do the 8200, you'll get a ton of these instead, and you're definitely going to be needing more of the small ones at this point. So that's what you have to farm in game specifically to get even in there. Alternatively, or not alternatively, but additionally, you're also probably going to want a 5-star elemental weapon. Unfortunately for me, I kind of went a little nuts and made some tier 2 weapons instead. A bunch of different ones, like I made the lance, I made the dagger, and I made the axe, I think, because I got Julieta. So I'm behind on that, and to do this you need 7 twinkling sand. So this is why whenever anybody asks me what you should be farming, it's really everything. Like, you need to finish the event and get that twinkling sand at the end, because that's what's going to enable you become super duper duper strong and kind of get through this no problem. As I said, I've screwed up. I don't have an elemental weapon ready, and that's really hindering my progress. If I had it right now, I could really be pushing on HMS. So instead, I'm just going to try with my 5-star tier 2 and see if I can get there. I think it's possible to do it with a 4-star elemental weapon. Of course, it has to be fire. That's the other thing. 100% has to be fire. So that's another thing to consider. So the next step after this is all done is kind of figuring out where you want to go with it and how to prep. So just to scare you a little bit, if you thought farming 1700 or 750 of those things was bad, keep in mind, to max your dojos, this is what it takes to max each dojo. 200 royals, 1430 of those insignias that take forever to farm. 2380 of those, and just so many. So, like, holy crap. And keep in mind, this is one dojo. We need 16 dojos maxed eventually. That is super bananas. I just thought I'd show you that. Also, here's a High Midgardsormr clear. I'll try to put it in the description below if you want to see a video to see if this is something you're interested in, something you're wanting to try to do. It really is the last step in the game currently, the hardest part. And I think a lot of this game is going to, ooh, almost knocked my fan over, is going to be like this in the end. Like there's going to be high level raids, just like a typical MMO that you're going to want to push for. So now let's take a look at some units you want to prep that elemental weapon for. The first one, the star of the show, I think probably one of the best units in the game right now. There's not many units I would say are just better than others, and this is just one of them. Verica is just bonkers right now, especially considering the only hard content in the game is wind. And she's really the only acceptable healer for this. There's so much to do with her. She's amazing. Also, you're going to want to pair her with Phoenix if you do have her. Phoenix is just an insane amount of healing, and it also boosts her HP by a huge amount. As for the weapons, I love how it has this now. This is new, by the way. I didn't know this was even here, but I'm reading through it now because it's there. 5-star elemental weapon is where you want to be, but if you don't have that, a 4-star fire Ellie works too. I would ignore this because you're going to need the HMS worm print. But the important part are all of her heals here. She's got restores HP to all teammates and removes stun, and this is one of the things that makes her bonkers. Need this remove stun, especially if you're running with an Azeleth who does not have stun removal or stun immunity. HMS, one of the biggest things around it is a bunch of stunning, so if you can get around stunning, that makes the fight way better. So she's just got a ton of healing, and she's got 100% stun resist as well, so bringing her just negates that stunning, and because she's not stunned herself, she can heal other people if they do get stunned. Basically, she's nuts for this. There's no real other healer. You're gonna want to Verica 100% of the time for this. The other good part is she's great for everything. Like actually everything in the game right now outside of like water onslaughts, I guess, she's fantastic for. You're also going to need these units 5-star currently. I don't think you survive the initial blast of HMS without a 5-star. And for those of you who don't know, at the very start of HMS, there's an unavoidable damage that hits the entire group, unavoidable completely. That'll basically one-shot everybody. It does about 1700 damage or something like that. So you need a huge HP pool, and you need the HMS card to survive it. Next up is somebody I'm leaning towards right now, and that is Azeleth. And the reason Azeleth is great is because she has a really high HP pool, and as I was talking about, it does help you survive that initial hit. And she's got a ton of damage, she's got a ton of iframes, she's got a lot of amazing things, but the problem is she does not have stun resist, she has sleep resist, which makes her really detrimental to the fight. Of the 5 units I'm going to look at today for HMS, I think she's the worst, but also the most accessible. I know that sounds weird, but just so many people have her already that it might be good to do. And if you play really well, and I do mean really well, you might not get stunned as much, maybe. There's that. Next up, we have Vanessa, and she is just a damage dealing machine. I love her to death. I want to build her. By the way, Verica and Vanessa are 2 4-stars. I'm missing 4 of the 23 or something like that 4-stars. Can you guess what 2 of the 4 are? Super frustrating to me, but it is what it is. Anyway, the key point for her is she's a fire unit with stun resistance, and again, that makes her nuts for this battle, and she does just an insane amount of damage, so she is a fantastic choice, and again, you will have to 5-star her to really use her here, but why wouldn't you? Look at that wonderful art. Next up, we have Makoto, and I like Makoto a lot too. I originally liked Azeleth better for this fight, but it turns out Makoto's stun resistance, again, if we scroll all the way down, I'm sorry for the scrolling, I know it's not good for your eyes, he has 100% stun resist too, so he's just kind of killing it at this point. And finally, one last option is our boy Yuden. I wish he had some better 5-star art. Thank you for the follow. Oh jeez, that always happens when I'm recording. I wish he had better 5-star art, but to be honest, I think a lot of characters need some 5-star art, so maybe that's something they'll go through eventually. And Yuden is actually no joke. He does some pretty nuts damage. He's got just a bunch of really offensive moves. And the cool part is he has Shapeshift increasing here, which is cool. I like this, and he's just an all-around Dragon Haste here, all-around great character. He also has 15% player XP, which is pretty solid too. I really like that, and I want to 5-star mine just for that. But again, most importantly, he's got that 100% stun res, which just makes him miles above everything else. Ideally, if you're going in with a group of 4, and this is not something you're just going to be able to pick up and pug in its current state, it's something you're going to need a team of 4 players that are like banging their heads against the wall trying to get it done for a while. So keep that in mind before you move on with this. Cool part about these units is you've got 5% Dragon Haste from Yuden, you've got 5% Strength from Makoto, you've got 7% Defense, which does matter, from Vanessa. Ezleth here has 5% crit rate, and Verica has the recovery potency, so you're not really overlapping any sort of abilities at this point, and that's fantastic since co-abilities are so amazing. So, long story short, super long story, what I would do is I would find a team of 4 people, maybe 6 people even, maybe get some rotations in there for when people can't log in, and try to get a good team going. Make sure you have a Verica, make sure you have basically as many stun resist units as possible, and just hopefully you have some good teamwork. And honestly, it's okay to go in with 3 Yudens and Verica. You're going to lose some co-abilities, but it's not terrible. People are clearing this with a decent amount of time remaining, so there's a little bit of leeway. But you have to remember, if you are going in with anything that is not stun resist, it's going to be a harder time. And last thing too is you should be prepping for this even if it's something you're not really ready for, and the way you can do that pretty easily is just focus on your fire elemental altars and focus on a weapon type you really want to do with your dojo. So for example, if you know for sure you're going to be using Vanessa in this, start pumping up that axe dojo and just get in there. Anyways, that's about all I can say today. Hopefully that was pretty informative, and I know this wasn't strategy throughout the fight, but honestly, that's way down the line. You should be focusing on getting in there first. So have a wonderful day. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll see y'all later. Bye now.